I think this is the core challenge of America, is that beyond the words is a real question of policy and a real question of values and a real question of seriousness. The real question of policy.
Actually, Newt has been one of the best of the other candidates. He's been pretty blunt.
Because I do think it's important for conservatives to be in the middle of the debate over the environment. What I do know is that if you look at exactly what was said in that ad, finding innovative new ways of getting cleaner energy ought to be something most Americans feel pretty comfortable with. I testified against cap and trade the same day that Al Gore testified in favor. American Solutions fought to defeat it in the Senate and were part of defeating it. I do not think you should have a gigantic central government model of solution, and I don't think you should spend trillions of dollars on a theory.
Did you believe in warming or no?
No, I voted from the environment.
Newt Gingrich on the defense for taking $1.5 million.
After he left Congress, Freddie Mac paid Gingrich at least $1.6 million.
$1.6 million, some of it just before the housing market collapsed.
Okay, the governor has cheerfully been attacking me inaccurately, and he knows it. The contracts we released from Freddie Mac said I would do no consulting, no lobbying, none. You're very quick to draw the widest possible exaggeration. The fact is, the only time I ever spoke to the Congress about this issue was in July of 2008. The New York Times reported it. I told the Republicans in the House, vote no, do not give them any money. They need to be reformed. And in answer to the question earlier, I would break each of them up into 5 or 6 separate units, and over a 5-year period, I would wean them from all federal sponsorship, because we need to get away from those gigantic systems.
Gingrich renewed his support for an individual mandate, a key tenet of President Obama's health care law.
Support for an individual mandate? Folks, don't ask me to explain this.
Heritage Foundation and most conservatives, including me, during the period of the fight over Hillary Care, accepted the idea of a mandate. And gradually, virtually everybody came to the conclusion that a mandate doesn't work, in part because it means more and more and more government definition of what are you mandating, which is exactly the point I was making the other night with Mitt. Now, my answer to Mitt would be, okay, I may once have advocated it. I concluded I was wrong. Why hasn't he concluded he was wrong? It's a change for you. That is a change. There's no question it's a change for the Heritage Foundation. I mean, a lot of us in '93, as opposed to Hillary Care, thought that was a less destructive alternative. The longer we dealt with it, the more we concluded it was hopeless.
You're an embarrassment to our party.
Remember the specific question I was asked. Would you pass a bill that was unpopular and not accepted by the American people? Now, that's what we just saw Obama do. The country was opposed to Obamacare. Every poll was opposed to Obamacare. He lost Massachusetts. He lost Teddy Kennedy's seat on a health care issue. Did he stop and say, oh, the American people were trying to talk to me? No. He rammed it through. And I think one of the things that's going to cost him the presidency is the anger the American people have. Yeah. And he rammed it through. So I was asking for a very specific question. I know Paul's a little bit irritated. Paul's a good friend. Clist and I have known him for years. I think he's one of the smartest people in American politics. I wrote an entire column praising his budget. I think it's courageous. I think it's smart. But I also think the most dangerous thing he's dealing with is Medicare, because it's every person. And I think that Republicans ought to go slow. They ought to go out to the country. They ought to listen carefully. They ought to modify it as needed to make sure that by the time it comes to a vote, it is popular. When we passed welfare reform, the largest entitlement reform in your lifetime, we had 92% support among the American people. We had 88% of the people on welfare who supported it. We got half the Democrats to vote for it. And my only point yesterday was, don't rush in and try to pass something people don't understand when it's an issue so large that it's in every single person's life.